Cool. Hi folks, Cesar here. Just want to say thank you first of all for checking out this video. Appreciate the time. For those that don't know, I currently serve on the Herndon Town Council and I'm running for re-election. I wanted to create this video just to do a quick introduction and also respond to some of the questions I've been getting out there. First and foremost, something you should know about me. I'm a first generation American. My parents immigrated to this country, uh, pursuing the American dream. They took care of us. We're the benefits of public schools, uh, free lunches, food stamps, and public subsidized housing. So I believe in investing in communities. I believe in investing in people because long term, that's what makes communities better, stronger across not only the Commonwealth but in our country. Something else you should know about me, I'm pretty busy. I do work for a living full time, information technology professional, working for a cloud service provider company. I take care of my parents. I moved them here about a year ago. They're both 85. They need care. They're living right in the Harbor House, so it's really, really convenient for me. I also moved my sister here. I take care of her too. She has debilitating MS and cognitive issues. But I'm blessed to be able to take care of my family. Feel that's how I can give back, and having been blessed, that's my way of giving back to the community. I also serve the community as well. I'm a volunteer for the Reserve Sheriff's Office here in Fairfax County, and I try to give back my time with other nonprofits groups. So, a little bit about me. Again, if I offended anyone out there, truly apologize, but I try to prioritize things as I need to address them. So, there were some questions submitted by folks from neighbors for downtown Herndon redevelopment. So, question number one. Our town is on the precipice of change. What is your plan for the downtown Herndon redevelopment? How do you see your role if elected? Okay, first and foremost, I completely support downtown redevelopment within the bounds of the established ordinances. I don't want to see 10-story, 20-story buildings in the downtown. I think we leave that development for more higher density areas towards the parkway. But here downtown, it's a quaint little town feel. We probably want to keep that going forward. So I don't like the idea of high density here, although I'm certainly open to looking at ideas. In terms of some of the other things in that response, yes, I am for it. My concern going forward with the current proposal from Comstock, the developer, is we haven't seen the finances. So that I think leads into question two. What would your primary immediate priority regarding Herndon redevelopment? Please be specific. So here's where I'm coming from. I think the town needs to look at financially what the impact of the deals for having that development are. Not just now, but 5, 10, 20 years down the road. So let me give you the analogy and my concern. Again, I'm for the development. My concern is with the financial, the funding of this project. Let's say you knew you wanted to buy a custom designed home and you've had 10 years to plan for it. But it seems that some people didn't feel the need to save money, didn't feel the need to establish financing or save for the down payment or closing costs or some other options that you may have. My concern is we're having to look at commercial bonding of this project. Now, if you're not familiar with that, and I've checked this, in the entire history of the Commonwealth, we've not used commercial bonding to fund projects. They've been federal bonds. And let me check that. There is one, Mosaic District. But the town has never used commercial bonds to fund any of the capital improvement projects or any developments. The reason why is they tend to not favor the municipalities or the public sector. Again, commercial bond, someone else is making the money, someone else is taking the revenue. I have concerns with that. It doesn't mean I'm against the development. Again, I have concerns that we, for the past decade, have known development was coming, yet to use the house analogy, we didn't save for the down payment, we didn't save for closing costs, we're not contributing anything up front, we're kicking that cost down years. And that's okay. If you want to kick costs down to future residents, that's a philosophical debate I'd love to have. I just think we should be paying a little bit as we go on. I don't think we can completely burden future generations. Again, I'm not saying we pay for everything up front. There's got to be a balance there. And we can't rely on the county, our parents, to give us money so we inch forward. We have a delta right now for what the town can afford and what the cost is. And how we close that delta, let's have that debate. Right now, I'm concerned that we're not prepared for that delta, the difference between what we can afford and what it actually costs. So I hope that's clear. If not, we can go into more discussions. The second question, I think, kind of fits there. Our traffic environmental concerns, absolutely, top of my list. Want to protect the green spaces. In fact, I would like to see the town invest in increasing green spaces. I'd love to see us do something with traffic. And if you think about conceptually, we have a parkway around the town. Maybe we take some of these roads inside, make them one way, so we have like this inner loop to further flow traffic. We haven't done any type of studies on that. I want to push that. You need 4 votes on council to do anything. A lot of people are against any change. I tend to be a change agent, and sorry, but I tend to be the person that provides the contrarian view on things. And believe me, it's not a disrespectful thing to hear a contrarian view. I think it's a great thing. I come from a Latino Catholic family with 51 first cousins. Contrarian views are a way of life. It doesn't mean we're enemies. It doesn't mean we're disrespectful. I think it's paramount that we hear other views, especially when you start talking about complex problems. I'll listen to anyone on any view on any topic. So for me, traffic, yes, we need to encourage more walkways, more walkable environments. But our town sidewalks are not ADA compliant. So if you're in a wheelchair, if you're a mom or dad pushing a stroller, on some of these streets, there's no sidewalks. Our sidewalks are from like the 80s, the 1880s. They're very narrow, and in some places with high traffic, there's a telephone pole or utility pole right in the middle. So if you're in a wheelchair, you have to get off into the street. If you're pushing a stroller, you have to get into the street. I think we should have been investing in cleaning up these issues a long time ago. So I think there's a balance there. We can't just kick capital improvement projects down the road over and over and expect to have a walkable community that addresses the traffic flow. People get in their cars because they're afraid to walk, or the bike paths or the walkways aren't sufficient. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm willing to invest in those areas. So 3, a lively appeals process preceded the adoption. If you got to choose something that would change with the current plan, what would it be? So let me say, I think there was a lost opportunity here with the development. The town, prior to this council, championed by myself and Council Member Pradeep Dakal, and certainly Councilwoman Signe Friedrichs and Vice Mayor Shula Olam, finally had enough votes to push the conversation of affordable housing. What are we going to do for workforce housing? Those issues, believe it or not, had never been discussed. So we're going to still continue to look at workforce housing. That's the one thing I would change. I don't think we can touch affordable housing in this current project. It's not going to happen. It requires a lot more planning and a lot more commitment and a lot more partnerships, which we just have not thought about or established for this project. I'd like to see that, but we're going to have to leave that to future projects. So in terms of the other question, the historic district, the HPRB, this is one that I hear about all the time. I think, and speaking with the people that were originally on creating this, the intention was not the way it's being administered today. The original intent, as I understand, and thank you, Connie Hutchison, for enlightening me, was to prevent people from coming in, buying up these old homes, and building McMansions, just like what was happening in Vienna. And I think that's a great thing, kind of preserve some of the integrity and the structures of the town. But where it's morphed to is we're trying to apply these standards where every home is different and not every home is in the district. So you have this sort of gerrymandered sort of line of which houses are included, which are not, and then you have this board which is trying its best to apply these standards. Well, we definitely need to look at it. What's the definition of historic? What are we trying to preserve, and to what end? What is the desired outcome that we want? None of those questions are really answered. It's sort of like, well, we've been doing this for so long, let's keep doing it. What we're creating is a scenario where some of our residents that live in this historic district can't afford to repair their homes the way they can repair them. We're imposing, through the municipality, a state mandate or a state demand. You must have a tin roof. Well, it had asphalt. Well, you can't do that. Well, what about this? We're driving people out that can't afford to repair their homes. I don't think any of us want that. I think if you leave it to the homeowners, they're going to take care of their homes. So I think with the HPRB, it needs to be refined, updated. Maybe we look at options to keep it, in terms of optional. Maybe we have it selected. We need to update it. We need to audit that. I don't think we want to get rid of it. I'm certainly not in that position, but I've certainly heard the arguments. But I think augmenting it absolutely needs to happen. So I'm open to the ideas. So hopefully this gives you a little better idea for where I'm coming from. I believe that we must invest in the community. I don't believe in cutting all taxes, cutting all services, cutting the police, cutting services, and being part of the county. That's not what made Herndon unique. It's not why people live here. Families move here because it's a great place. It's pretty central to the airport and downtown in Tyson's Corner, and certainly leveraging our bike path, certainly leveraging our proximity to the Dulles Toll Road. There are things that we can absolutely change, but we have to invest. If you want ADA compliant sidewalks, we need to pay for them. If you want them now, we need to raise revenues or cut services. So we're going to have a battle, especially over ideas in light of this coronavirus downturn. What are our budget priorities? What services are we going to maintain? What are we going to reduce? What are we going to have to find new sources of revenue for? I will tell you, it's a little disconcerting where you have a general fund, and I'll ask you as a family, how many months or years of reserves would you have for your monthly expenses? In the town for the past 10 years, we've kept no more than 2 months of reserves in the operating expense. So in the general fund, when the budget crash hit, we only had 2 months worth of reserves. I think that's a bad way to manage the town. We then had to do some creative refinancing, which is great. Interest rates are low, but we kicked those costs down to 2025 and beyond. So when we don't take care of our house now, we just leave it for the next council or the next generation to deal with. I believe in responsibility. I believe we should pay as we go. And I think that's the way we build this town for success for the future, not just for today, but position it for the future. And if you have any questions, my website is, actually my Facebook page is Cesar Loves Herndon. Please submit me questions. My email address is cesar4herndon@gmail.com. Welcome any questions. I'll respond to what I can, when I can. If it takes me a little time, just remember I'm out there taking care of my family, working, and doing everything else that needs to be done. So appreciate you listening, and look forward to hearing from you. And if you do get a chance, for those that are strong Democrats, please vote in the endorsement for the Fairfax County Democratic Committee endorsement this month. It's through August 28th, 2020, and that's fairfaxdemocrats.org/Herndon. Love to get your vote. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you listening.